meditation, and then a 5-minute earth meditation. It was so brilliant, the energy was just fantastic. Meditation, and then a 5-minute earth meditation. It was so brilliant, the Namaste, Pavanji.
Guruji, how are you tolerating Mumbai's heat?
Are we frozen? Now we are back.
Yeah.
Bombay, it is 36, 37 degrees here.
No.
This time it is getting hot. But I was just trying to fix this transmission on YouTube. That's why there was a little lag.
Okay.
Some say that they watch it on YouTube once later, or sometimes even during, as we are having our Zoom call, some are joining on the YouTube. So anyway, for record keeping, that's a good one. But I was listening to you, Vimal Bhai, about your trip to Nairobi.
Yeah.
The weather must be good. And
yeah, everything was good, but one of the days it really rained, and there were floods in Nairobi, and unfortunately,
in the city itself.
In the city itself, yeah, and unfortunately, 29 people died. Because it was so sudden. Yeah.
How is it possible?
Yeah, because the community there is very poor, and if they get caught in the rain, some of them just get caught, and that's it. Yeah, and Nairobi is getting so built up, and they're not looking at the infrastructure. The water doesn't have anywhere to go, so it just goes on the roads. Yeah, and it becomes like a river, and you can see, we were out that night because we were going for dinner at my cousin's place. Yeah, but we decided to turn back, when we just thought that the rain is too heavy. Yeah, and on the way back home, it took us 1.5 hours. We've just been, it's sheer weight of traffic. And in some places where the water had built up, you could see that the cars were floating and people were sitting on the rooftops. Not very good, because if they built up, they need to see where drainage. Yeah. So drainage is a big problem there now. Yeah. And unfortunate for the locals, because they just get caught. If they get caught, it's mayhem. Yeah. And the next day when we, we saw that some walls had collapsed, some bridges had collapsed, some trees had fallen. So yeah, it's one of those things, you can't fight nature.
Side we have nature's fury. On the other side, man-made wars. We are passing through such a time.
Yeah, such a difficult time. And that's why, when we did the meditation, it was so beautiful, And then I was just thinking that, I never dreamt that in Nairobi, I will find a place, where there is such energy, where it is alive, It's like, the energy there was like Badrinath.
I need to get the address from you. I go to Nairobi this year. I go there.
Yes. Yeah.
30 seconds. I'm excusing myself.
Yeah.
What a joy that. And could you
Yeah.
make it to Mombasa too? There is.
No, no, not to Mombasa this time because I wanted to spend time with my sister. Yeah. If we went to Mombasa, then, it's a week gone. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And yeah, I know I was thinking of Gombeshwar Mahadev. Yeah. But then in Nairobi, when I was there, I was just thinking about it that, okay, next time probably will come.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But I've been there. I've been there twice. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And yeah. And, from what I saw when you send those videos, yeah, the carvings of Ganesh and them have become more prominent.
Prominent.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can see that it looks like, the life is coming in them. Yeah. So,
Fantastic. We are here at our time to begin.
yeah.
Let us, I welcome Myra. She is joining in from Holland, if I'm not mistaken. There she is. She's joining in from Holland. Here is Myra. This is Vimal Bhai is from London that you see on the screen. And then there are others. Urvesh here, he is from London also. And then you have Niva. She's also from.
Ram Ram. I'll come on screen as soon as I've parked my car. I'm just parking and then I'll come up.
Fantastic. So she's also from London. Emma is from the Caribbean, from the Dominican Republic, and she has very weak internet signals, so she normally doesn't put on her video. And then what is S is Sonia ji. She's joining in from Delhi. This is how we are, and some maybe on the live YouTube. That so welcome again, Myra, to the first coming together. We begin with a minute or two of tuning in. Let's bring our awareness to the flow of our breath. Close our eyes gently and tune in deeply. Namaste to each one of us, from each one of us. So here we are. We have been sharing about the Sri Chakra, mystical geometrical pattern. It's known as the most complex of the sacred geometries. Have you ever heard of Sri Yantra, Myra, as such? Never, no? Okay. Doesn't matter. We'll catch up. Don't get stressed at all. will bring you up to date. But you join in midstream, and this is where you are supposed to join in. So you are coming in right at the time. I will just, for the benefit of all of us, I would want to just and especially for Myra, I would want to share the picture of Sri Yantra just one time. So that is it. This is the sacred. There's a square. There are 3 circles inside it, and then there are 2 circles of lotus petals, and then there are triangles inside. There are 4 triangles going up. You later on will share this image with you, Myra. So there is the 4 triangles going up, 5 triangles coming down. They are interlacing in between. And there is a dot, infinitesimally small dot right at the center. It's a very complex geometry. And here we have Nevaji, who is an expert in how to make it. In fact, you can learn from her how to make it. It's very interesting. And it's a very beautiful spiritual practice in itself to make this. Urvesh Bhai also is making it, but he's still not an expert. Nivaji is one. But we all are familiar with this geometry, and we call it sacred because we also accept it as the abode of the divine feminine, and therefore use it as an object of meditation as well as an object of worship. So why is it so? How does it become so sacred? What is there to worship in it? And what do we end up worshiping in it? You'll be surprised that there are books this fat on the science of this and what all are the containment of energies in different triangles and in different petals, in the different circles, the different squares with the 4 gates. It's beautiful. We'll get on that journey with you if needed also separately. But today we shall be approaching, we have completed up to the petals, the 24 petals. To revise once again for everybody, because we need to hear it again and again. The square represents the earth element, and primarily it represents our body, physical health, our life, the way we live it, including our relationships, the place where we live, all of that, the life as we do life, and then our profession, the way we create our livelihood, we arrange for our life. And the 4th side is the aspect of celebration. How do we celebrate life? These are the 4 sides of the square. Even if people are not interested in spirituality, everybody is interested in these 4 aspects and to bring them into balance. So that stands on the square. Under that is the circle that represents the wind element, the element of motion, and it represents our breath, and which is the wind element and the life, the cycle of life, as well as the cycle of time. Time is in constant motion, taking us forward. So it actually represents all the motions within the context of life. So that's the circle. And then there are petals, 16 petals in the outside circle, 8 petals in the inner circle. These 24 petals represent 24 distinct qualities oblique practices. They are both practices as well as qualities. 24 distinct of them. We have identified them. And they're not random, they're not arbitrary. There is a logic behind it. There is an ancient wisdom that goes behind selecting those 24 qualities. And it is those qualities that make us resonate in deepest harmony with nature. It is those 24 qualities that once we arrive into that space where those 24 petals have blossomed, that we become truly free from the clasp of Mother Nature. All that also, I'm just touching the essence of it. And then we enter into the layer of triangles. And as I said, there are 4 triangles going up, 5 triangles coming down. Those that are going up are known as the masculine triangle. Those triangles that are coming down are known as the feminine triangles. And they interlace between themselves, and they form 5 layers of triangles. 4 up, 4 down, and 1 extra down. So they become 5 layers of triangles. These 5 layers are represented here. And at the center of it, the dot. The triangles that are going up are the fire element. The triangles that are coming down are the water element. And the dot is the space element. So thus it completes the 5-element model of reality as most of the ancients perceived reality to be. Today, we will enter the discussion of the triangles at the first level of detail. The first level of detail is to consider these 5 triangles, the 5 layers of triangles, and at every layer, identify the triangle going up and the triangle going down. What does it stand for? Let us see how does it work. You might find it interesting. So I just quickly made a note. I'm traveling, and hence I could not make a very detailed note, but still, this is a note of reference. So these triangles, the first layer of triangle going up, triangle going down. The first triangle that is going up represents our self-effort. And the triangle that is coming down represents grace. Now, grace is always pouring. No doubt on that. In fact, all the 5 triangles that are coming down are actually only grace, different aspects of grace. They are unconditional, totally available for everybody, no qualifications, nothing. It's divine grace as it flows in manifested as 5 different flows. We'll discuss that. But the triangles that are going up are our human efforts. And the human efforts, through the human efforts, we create an energetic vessel in which this grace is collected. If there is no human effort, there will be no grace collected. That means any number multiplied by infinity is equal to infinity. However, 0 multiplied by infinity is equal to 0. So if there is no human effort, there will be 0 experience of grace. However, if there is some effort put in, to that extent, as much of grace as is possible to be contained at that level of effort will be experienced. Let me also share right in the beginning that this is the most subtle, and it's a layer of discussion which goes beyond words. The scriptures say that when the sages exclaim that the mind, along with the words, along with the mind, curves back towards me without being able to touch and explain that reality. So we are almost getting there. So first layer of triangle is self-effort, upward triangle. Downward triangle is grace. The three corners of self-effort is love, purpose, and transcendence. We have to drive imagine all these self-efforts are all at a mental and conscious level. So we have to cultivate love. That's the first and foremost corner of that triangle. We have to cultivate a purpose, and we have to cultivate transcendence. Transcendence. These words could mean as much as you can pack in them. Love would include compassion, love would include forgiveness, love would include non-hurt. Love is God. So to that extent, as a human being, the closest we can get to experiencing God is love itself. To cultivate that, and there is a very conscious, a very tangible method of cultivating that. Yet at the same time, there is also something intangible that begins to kick in by the time you reach to the level of the triangles. After you have worked yourself through the petals, 24 petals, a lot of these become active on their own. So love, purpose, transcendence, let's go through it quickly and then we can go back to it. And grace pours down in the form of harmony, health, and wealth. Almost corresponding. The effort or the cultivation of love is matched by the downpour of grace in the form of harmony. More and more love, more and more, less and less conflict, more and more harmony around you. More and more purpose as you cultivate that. Less and less conflicted, distributed, disturbed, scattered you become. Less and less insecure, and therefore more and more health at the level of mind, emotions, also body. A purposeful life will lead to a healthy life as grace. And transcendence, more and more cultivation of transcendence. That means more and more of letting go. That means more and more of contentment, more and more of enoughness. Contentment directly relates to more and more of abundance. In fact, harmony, health, and wealth, I would much rather say abundance. Abundance will be a better word for that. More and more of abundance. And where I have written health, I could even use the word wellness. More and more of wellness, more and more of abundance, and more of happiness. I can say, instead of harmony, we can say happiness. Instead of health, we can say wellness. And instead of wealth, we can use abundance. This will be more appropriate, though it is myself. I was writing it just a few minutes before, but I think these will be better words to describe grace. Wellness, abundance, happiness. Wow. A sense of exclamation. Staying in a space of exclamation. That will be the downward triangle. As we move in deeper, the second layer of triangle will be knowledge. Knowledge. As the triangle of self-effort, knowledge. To gain knowledge, to gain good quality knowledge, not fill our heads with whatever comes in the feed, but to consciously feed ourselves with quality knowledge. What will be the downpour of grace? Grace will be wisdom. I will put another word there. Grace will be grokking, grokking that, getting it all together, all at once, not sequentially, but asequentially. Knowledge is sequential. Knowledge is logical. Knowledge is built up of pieces of information woven together in a format, leading to a certain understanding. There is a method to that learning and story. But wisdom is all together. It is asequential. It is all together. A non-cause and effect, beyond cause and effect. That wisdom. In Sanskrit, knowledge is known as Gyan. Wisdom is known as Pragya. These are words that are used. How will we gain knowledge? The triangles, the 3 points of gaining knowledge at this level are listening, reflecting, applying. First is listening. Listening to knowledge. Listening includes reading. Listening includes also audio-visual. Listening will also mean observing, but mostly reading, writing, taking notes, just taking in intake of a certain quanta of knowledge. First point of the triangle. The second point of the triangle is reflection. What we have learned, to reflect, to question, go seek answers, get answers, get it back, absorb it. So second level is reflection and absorption of what we have learned. And third is application and expression. What we have learned should be absorbed, assimilated, and then expressed, lived. We have to live that. There is a big gap between what we know and what we act. There's a big gap between, it's called the knowing-doing gap. So here it is, knowing, reflecting, doing. You can also say that. Listening, absorbing, reflecting, and applying, living, however we understand. So that completes the triangle of knowledge of our self-effort. A lot of work goes into that. The other side, the downward, the grace triangle, that will just pour. We don't have to do anything there. It will just happen. Is inspiration, insight, intuition. Inspiration, insight, intuition. There will be a revelation of a certain understanding, which was not what you learned, which is beyond what you learned. There will be a new understanding, a fresh, personal, intimate wisdom that expresses itself, that manifests itself within us. So knowledge is the self-effort, Gyan is self-effort, wisdom, Pragya, is the Kripa, the grace. So at this layer, grace presents itself as wisdom. At the third layer of triangle, it becomes even more subtle. And it is much more contextual. Here, the triangle loses its three sides. It is so difficult to identify the 3 sides, though it can be identified. But I've just left it as a word for the time being. It is getting in tune with the Guru. Now, what will be the 3 dots of that Guru, the 3 points of this triangle, which is this Guru? One is the learning principle within, tuning in to the higher awakened learning principle within, the higher intellect within. the voice of the conscience, getting in tune with that. Then there will be a learning principle reflected outside in a person or a personality. Here, sometimes in the West, it is difficult because these words have, especially in the last 50, 60 years, when a lot of such masters have appropriated very difficult places in the society. But yet here we are talking from the pure wisdom point of view. So in that guru, outside guru, could be a personality, for example, for the West, a personality like Jesus could be a guru, whom you can adore, whom you can look at and get inspired. Or Saint Francis of Assisi, whom you can look at, whom you can get inspired. Or whoever you can look up to. Who can you come up with more personalities? I could come up with Buddha, come up with Thich Nhat Hanh. All these personalities who stand there as a beam of light, blemishless. They stand there to tune in. So there's an outer guru, let us say. And the third dot of the triangle is the impersonal universal guru principle, who will guide the inner guru to the outer guru and create a certain dance of wisdom. A spark of light will take place. So that impersonal guru, that impersonal universal guru, in the Vedic, ancient Vedic tradition, the name to that universal guru is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya means golden, Garbha means womb, the golden womb. Can you imagine? The pronoun used for Hiranyagarbha is masculine. We call him. But can you imagine that his name given in the text is the golden womb? That ultimate teaching principle, that the ultimate place where wisdom, or I'll not say knowledge, the ultimate space in which knowing is born, or the knowing happens, that womb, it is referred to as a womb, and it is referred to as the golden womb. Golden in two ways. One, straightway, a womb filled with golden light, or a golden lighted womb. The other way you can say is gold being the most precious element, that the highest, most treasured womb is the golden womb in which knowing happens. I personally have interpreted that to be every mother's womb is the golden womb. Every mother, in that womb, when the first moment where fetus recognizes or gets a sense of I or am, I am at some point, that mother's womb is a golden womb. And not only that, the mother's arms, the mother's care as a baby, as the baby grows, and how the mother cares, not only of human beings, but of any species. That care and warmth and security, that is the mother's womb in which that particular living being learns. There is the first learning of that. So these are the three: the personal, the impersonal, and the metapersonal, or universal. So what we'll say, the inner light, the inner learning principle, the outer learning principle, and the meta learning principle, teaching principle, is the guru triangle. And we need to consciously cultivate this triangle and traverse it. It's a deep triangle inside. What is the downward grace there? The grace of this guru. Again, you will say, what will be the difference between wisdom here and the grace here? What will be the difference, because wisdom here is also grace. And at the third layer, again, there is grace. Grace of Guru is only going to give the grace of knowing. So here, wisdom is the grace of understanding, learning, understanding. And here, at the Guru's level of grace, it will be the grace of knowing itself. There is a very subtle difference. Here, the grace will appear as knowing. And I have left the triangle points for the time being. Probably we'll discuss, Nevaji, and let's identify what these 3 points could be. Even deeper, the triangle layer 4, the fourth layer of triangle. That's the innermost layer where these two triangles are crossing each other, intersecting. So the triangle which is going up, that of the self-effort, I have for the time being used a word, expression called me mother triangle. The name of the effort is me and my mom in an intimate connection. What is that me mother intimate connection? Here, the effort is at creating a baby. When it is born, it knows how to suck the mother's breast. What does the baby do? The baby only creates vacuum in the mouth. If the baby doesn't know how to create vacuum in the mouth, there will be no milk going inside the mouth from the mother's breast. Impossible. So the first act, or the subtlest life act, is to be able to create an emptiness, a pure emptiness, where there is no existence of even the wind. That pure, uncluttered, forget clutteredness, the pure nothingness or the pure vacuum, that emptiness which has a force, which is as a force in itself. Creation of that is the upward triangle, creation of the vacuum. And the downward triangle is the rush of the mother's milk, completion. So emptiness is our effort. Completion is the grace that will fill that emptiness at that most intimate, intersecting triangle level. And then we come to the triangle 5, whereas there is no upward triangle. There is only a downward triangle. So the upward triangle not being there means it's the space of zero effort. There is a book written by Dr. Deepak Chopra called The 7 Spiritual Laws. Very beautifully explained. In that, the 7th spiritual law is the law of zero effort. Actually, it stems from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Maharishi sage Patanjali uses the word prayatna shaithilya, the cooling of self-effort, the cooling down or the inertness, a total inertness or numbness of self-effort. There is no self-effort here at all. Example, a cat's baby. A baby cat puts no effort at all. It is totally relaxed, totally loose, no intentions, no effort. And the mother cat picks up the baby cat and takes it wherever it has to. So it's a space of zero effort. And the downward triangle is pure grace. Each and everything reveals itself as grace. That is grace there. I've written ahetuki. Ahetuki. Hetu means cause. Ahetu means causeless. Ahetuki kripa. Ahetuki grace. Causeless grace, without any reason, without any cause. It is a non-transactional grace. At every other at the previous 4 levels, it is as if grace is a transactional reward for some kind of self-effort. If the corresponding upward triangle is not practiced, the downward grace will not be experienced. And it raises a doubt what kind of a causeless grace it is. Even if it is mother's milk flowing into the mouth of the baby, after all, that poor baby has to suck, has to put in some effort. Only then mother is able to deliver milk. So how is it grace? It is a transactional equation. Vacuum is equal to amount of
And also,
vacuum.
Pavanji, if I say something,
Hmm.
can it also be a purpose of pleasure to the mother? It is is it not pleasure to the mother to milk the baby, basically, when the
True, you are
baby
right.
sucks?
Yeah.
Because
Why not?
it is a pleasure and it is a joy when the mother is feeding a baby, because it becomes very painful for a mother to bear the milk also.
Also,
So the purpose is there to give
purpose is
joy
there.
and pleasure to others.
But
So the
yes, you
baby
are
also does
absolutely
this
right.
purpose.
Absolutely well pointed that until triangle 4, even if grace is considered to be unconditional, yet it seems that there is some kind of a conditionality, some kind of an equation. But at the triangle 5, there is nothing in return that we need to do. In fact, as a very beautiful, fulfilling, completing realization dawns that every heartbeat is grace. Every breath that comes in and out is grace. That I'm able to, yeah, uh, it is not an effort, but it is a state of being in deep love and gratitude, a state of pure being. You cannot put any words to the effort side of it, but yes, it is pure grace. Uh, if at
So
all,
grace,
yeah,
Pavanji, does grace come with a purpose?
no, it is causeless, so there is no purpose.
There's no purpose to
Grace,
grace.
there is grace. Being itself is a purpose there. Like fragrance has, of course, fragrance has a purpose of attracting the insects, but other than that, it is flowing purposelessly.
What is the
There's no,
purpose? It is joy
it is
to
pure joy.
others. It is pure joy.
Absolutely, absolute state of being. And therefore, the dot in the center of it, the
Hmm.
dot which looks like a very infinitesimally small point, actually is a portal to the infinite, timeless, eternal state of being. So, what we call in a very mystic language, we call the process as piercing the dot or going through the dot. Bindu bhed. Nivad, you would have heard, or even Urvesh Bhai would have heard this word. Bindu bhed. Bindu means dot. Bhed means to pierce it, to go through it, to pass through, to flow through. But it's not even flow through, it's piercing. Bhed means to go through. Bindu bhed. And that dot represents actually the space element. And then we already know that there are spaces within spaces within spaces. So it is actually that dot is the space. It's a portal to another realm of reality. For all our practical purposes of understanding, we install the diffused, totally fused, not yet distinct masculine and feminine principle together, Shiva and Shakti together, pure potential and its potential together, sun and sunlight, such that the light has still not beamed out, but it is there. The sun and sunlight are inseparable. And imagine that the sunlight has yet not left the sun. It is still, in that moment when it is still at the sun, that's the point of that bindu. What I said, this is just the first sort of feeling your way within the maze of triangles. Between these interlacing triangles, they form 43 triangles, and every layer has different numbers of triangles you can see in the diagram. And we will, at some time later, we will go through each of the 43 triangles. But for now, I will pause myself here and turn it over first to Myra, because this is the first time she's getting hit by the most subtle part of the Sri Chakra directly. So, how does it sound from outside? Is how I would love to hear from you and your impression.
Yes. Well, it's very interesting because though I've never heard of this triangle, is the content of it is of course, or not of course, but is partly also a journey I've walked and still walking because I'm not there yet. So it makes deep sense to me. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, I wait to hear from Nivaji, Urvesh Bhai. We are doing this after a long time. We did it 1 or 2 years ago, and then we were on another journey. And it is after 1 or 2 years that we are looking at the triangles. So, how does it sound, Nivaji?
It sounds beautiful. These days, I seem to be quite lost for words, and I have very little to say, and it's very difficult for me to even. I painted another Sri Yantra yesterday. This is going to Madrid tomorrow. Just wanted to share it. And
Oh, very beautiful.
yeah, it's just got the Panchadasi mantra. Can you see the
Where
gold?
have you put the Panchadashi mantra? Is it
There,
outside the
can you see
circle?
on the outside?
Yes, I can see that.
So the more I keep painting her, I did make a note just now whilst you were talking, Pavanji, especially with the bindu. So I can read out my note because
Yes,
otherwise there's
yes, yes,
just
yes.
the subtleness is so the words that came up even when you were talking were just nature and nurture. You know, the breasts are nurturing, production and nurturing, but that is also nature's element of beingness, which is her stillness, presence, essence. And the grace is like the heart of darkness, going beyond the bindu into para. And so my notes, what did I write? The bindu is not a void, it is nothing, a nihil. It contains in itself, however, everything. It can be called zero, but zero, as popularly understood, is a naught. So the mathematician can easily demonstrate this is a wrong notion. But from the zero radiates on both sides an infinite continuum of numbers. So the bindu is the nave of the great wheel of the Sri Chakra, Paramasya Nabhi, the navel of the Supreme Self, from which the whole of creation originates eternally. The bindu can also be considered as a point circle not yet having a radius because it's infinite, like as you spoke about. It can be thought of as a triangle with no area, a point where there would be three vertices coinciding. And from the para bindu, in the stage of evolution appears the three bindus. So in the Mishra understanding, the bindu is containing the Shiva and Shakti, the static Shiva bindu and the dynamic Shakti bindu. And these three bindus, as we have explained today in Pavanji's class, form the primary triangle of the Mula Trikona. And this angle represents the creation in its triple aspects as Tripura, Tripura Sundari, Triputi. All of these have their nomenclatures derived from this triangle of the divine desire, and it's endless. I'll probably continue. So it's presence, it's subtle, it's silence. In fact, it's wordless. Because for me now, a lot of my sadhana is the silence. And you can't put, I can't personally now put into words that connection, because before it was seeking an external connection or even doing abhishekams and rituals to the Shri Yantra, but it's kind of, it's all like, I can't, I hope you understand, Pavanji. It's like an internal thing now that it's like, well.
Yes, because right in the beginning, I said that in describing it, the sages said that words along with the mind curve back to myself,
Yes.
without reaching the object of what I'm intending to describe. So you are right. This is beyond. This is not unable to be described, but you arrive there. There is a kind of a subtle arrival which you know, but you can't. It is something like, for Myra's sake, I will elaborate. It is like describing the sweetness of a chocolate. Now, how you say it is sweet, you can only say it is sweet and it is very nice, but yet it would be an incomplete description, far from what it really means. True, you're right.
And as a woman, as a mother, it's the same feeling as when you've given birth to a child. That you cannot describe that unconditional love when you're just looking into the baby's eyes and holding the baby, because it's like there's no other love greater than that. There's no words for it.
Yes. Yes. So here we are in a space where there are not much words, but we need to work through that. We need to be aware of this space and work through that. How, Urveshbhai,
For,
you were
for
intending?
me, Guruji, Bindu is the self, which is nothing, something, and everything. That's the conclusion I can come to, because there is nothing else. She is her, she is us, and we are her. That's the ultimate point where you not only merge but become her. That's the point we all need to, and that awakens, balances both the masculine and feminine principle within us. So again, I say it's nothing, something, and everything.
Yes. Yes. And even before you arrive into the Bindu, the different layers of triangle. So how I have been looking at it is begin from where you can understand. Yes. So we can at least understand that we have to make some self-effort, gain some knowledge, listen, reflect, apply, take notes. If you don't understand, ask questions, disagree, agree, whatever, but arrive at a certain understanding. And once you're sure that this is the correct understanding to the best of your knowledge, apply it in your life. Don't let it just remain a piece of information. And it could begin from very small things like going to the gym and taking care of your body, to more subtle things like not being judgmental or critical or things like that. And to cultivate love, to cultivate purpose, to cultivate transcendence on a daily basis. Of course, we have already been discussing how simple observation of the breath, simply becoming an observer, can lead us into all these layers straight away. Simply becoming an observer of our breath can lead us into transcendence in that instant itself as an observer. So we begin from where we are and whatever we can understand, and then keep progressing gradually towards. And at the same time, on the grace side, all the time try to tune in to the great, in deep gratitude to everything that is happening around us. The parents that we got, the country we were born in, the situations, the clothes we wear, the water we can drink, just go to a tap, open it and get water. I mean, each and every, to realize grace or to become, to recognize grace, the first step is gratitude. And within the 24 petals, we know that gratitude is a very important petal. We will share the 24 petals with Myra, with you once again, and we will probably do a crash course with you one other than a Saturday, Sunday. Probably we'll set up a time, and maybe me and Urvesh Bhai will come together and with you, Myra, and we will, and anyone else can also join for a refresher course. But it will be an extra time where we just discuss the basic idea of this. So that is great. The subtle point is that all our karmic imprints are stored within the triangles, and getting these triangles into a state of harmony, into the state of peace, is of utmost importance. Anyone else wishes to say something I'm missing out?
I want to add something to what Niva said, because she just gave me a beautiful present. Because what you said, like when you hold your child for the first time and that sense of love, it's, yeah, you cannot describe it. And they always tell you, you have to love yourself the most and then your child, but it's almost impossible because you feel so much love for your child. And for me, my child taught me to love myself. So that was the start of my my personal journey 12 years ago. And the invitation I'm getting today is because, you know, once you felt this love, you felt it, right? It's there, it's yours. So you can always touch it. So it's a great invitation for me to, of course, towards my child, but to also touch it towards the world, this love. So yeah, thank you for that, both of you. Yeah.
Yeah, and but just to further add to what Myra you have said, that when you use this word, the love for the world, when love flows out of your state of being into your state of becoming, into your living, it will flow as compassion. And behind love is the knowing of truth. Truth not in the sense of truth and lie, but the truth of creation itself, of life itself, of existence itself. The truth of existence. A very common example I'll use it again and see how it makes sense. When we say this is This is a phone. This is a phone. This is a pen. This is a watch. This is a man. This is my computer is. Now, if you look at it, if you put them all together, you'll find that phone, pen, watch, man, they are all objects or people or even emotions. They are all changeable. But there is a beautiful word in these sentences, which is. They, because of the possibility of existence, it is that they exist. If the possibility of existence was not, if existence itself was not there, if is was not there, the sentence itself will fall. Isness, existence, we call it existence, sat. Existence is called truth in Sanskrit. In our tradition, truth means what exists. Actually, that is how truth gets a name. So once you begin to identify that this is existence and the rest of it is changeable reality, relative reality, out of that you get a certain anchorage in your feeling of love. A love which is non-transactional.
Mm.
And that love which is non-transactional flows out of your being and becomes compassion. So being to becoming, love turns into compassion. A very great master of modern times, Murari Bapu, he has used these three words: truth, love, compassion. Satya, Prem, Karuna. Truth, love, compassion. It comes from a more ancient tradition, these three words. But I find that these three words well defined. And when I see my guru's motto, Swami Rama, he gave this motto: love, serve, remember. So remember is truth. Remember the truth, the changeable relative reality in relationship to the constant conscious self. Remember that. Therefore, love, be in love. Your being should be in a state of love. And love in action is compassion. So,
Like
exactly.
Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
Sundaram.
Truth, and Shiva is love, actually. Satyam means truth. Shiva means benevolence, love, and Sundaram, beauty. There's no bigger beauty than compassion.
Mm.
Other day also I was mentioning this, that when we say my mom is beautiful, it does not mean my mom is beautiful woman on the ramp. My mom is beautiful because of her flowing love in form of compassion, maternally compassion towards me, of how she cleans me and makes me beautiful. My mom is beautiful because she makes me clean and beautiful. Therefore, my mom is beautiful. So the Satyam Shivam Sundaram is that truth that beautifies is beautiful. That truth which beautifies is beautiful and benevolent. So, yeah, I guess that will form the bigger sides of the triangle, not the points, but the sides of the triangle will remain all the time the same: truth, love, and compassion. With that, the upward moving triangles will certainly be made out of this, because we have to consciously cultivate these sentiments and awareness towards that. And their existence in universe is the downward triangle. Both ways it will be the same. Truth exists. It is not that we can create it. So we can only cultivate our consciousness towards that truth. But in that truth will download its presence. Similarly, love. Love exists. Love is God. God is love. But when we cultivate that, God manifests or pours into our being as love. And similarly, compassion. That God who is love is compassionate. And when we tune into that through our efforts, consciously, we manifest compassion in our daily life. So we can speak a lot about this and we can speak nothing else.
Yeah.
Nimaji
Yeah.
said, or even Myra said that. There's no words.
Ja. Dat is heel mooi, Mayra, een beetje spreken Nederlands.
Ah, wow. Wow. Impressive.
Bedankt.
Ah, that is so nice. Can you read what it says here?
What zoo
Zo,
leaf Dave Odin?
Odin.
What
Only half
are
of
you?
it. Zo, if then, Odin.
It says, what would love do?
Ah.
Wow.
That's a constant reminder for me, like when I'm angry or irritated, and just switch
That's
like,
so
okay, what
funny.
would love do? Yeah.
That's what I say to my children all the time. If they ever have an issue or a problem or anything, I sit them down and I say, "Well, what would love do now?"
I love that. Yeah.
That's lovely.
And long time ago, I did a small video. Probably I'll share that link again. You know, when you say, I am Urvesh, I am Myra, I am, AM. What does AM stand for? So I understood it to be the short form of amore, love.
Mm.
So I love, so I comma love is Nivasha. I comma love
Mm.
Nivasha. You
And
know,
one
I
of the when we're doing in Kola Tantra, when we're doing the activation of the 108 points, the Marma points, we start off with here,
yes,
when you're
absolutely.
going around the heart. So it's
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Beautiful. If there are any more sharings to come forward, Katrinel, Vimal Bhai, anything?
Like I said that, when going to Nairobi, where how did I come across this? Niva actually had told me to go and see Anupaji. Yeah. Uh, but sometimes you get carried away, yeah, with other things, and but all of a sudden, I don't know why, on the holiday, yeah, on such an auspicious day that we visited that place with my niece, who also needed that compassion, yeah, and we received it. So yeah, uh, words can't explain, it just can't explain. Once you start on this path, things just start to come, and then you just flow with it, yeah, and just do what you can, and like for me, the healing sessions will start at 3 o'clock, and it's just developing. The compassion guides you towards more compassion.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Fantastic. May we have a nice weekend, all of us, and we meet again. And we
Pavanji, you're
reflect on
really
this.
radiating today. You're really glowing.
Thank you. This is all the triangles working here.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Nice.
fantastic.
Shri Matre
That's
Namaha.
it.
Thank you.